Hi everybody, it is April and today we are going to make a quilt without any piecing. What is piecing? I don't understand what you mean when you say quilt without piecing. Piecing is what we quilters do. We cut all of our fabric apart and then we sew it back together. Making a quilt without piecing, that sounds way easy. I'm in. Hi everybody, it is April and I'm in my craft room. So let's get started making a quilt without piecing. The key to making a quilt without piecing is all in the fabric. I found this fabric at Hobby Lobby. And as you can see, the piecing is already done. All I have to do is find a backing. And for the backing, I'm going to use this cotton gauze. For the binding, which I like this really hot pink fabric, I think it's going to make it look really cute. So then all I have to do is sew. Let me show you how. So here is our fabric. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 36 inches of this fabric. The width of fabric, which is what is from selvage to selvage, should be about 40 inches, and that will put our quilt at 36 inches by 40 inches, which should be a really good size for a baby quilt. And here is a baby dog. So now what we'll do is we will take this over to the iron and iron it. Here is what we're going to use for our backing. Now this is a cotton gauze fabric and I have not used this previously. This is something that Tracy from the sewing channel uses for the back of her quilts on a regular basis and she loves it. I don't want to cut just 36 inches because I want the back part of my baby quilt to be bigger than the front. And then I can always trim off the excess. I will run an iron over this because it's got some creases in it. As always, I'm going to be using my faultless spray so that I can get a nice crisp finish. I'm just going to leave my selvage on for right now. Once I finish ironing, we'll put our 3 layers together. So I have Maxine who is helping me. Usually it's Oliver. Oliver is napping. So what I want to do is make a sandwich. Next piece is going to be batting. What I am going to do is I'm going to spray a little 505 temporary adhesive. And what this is going to do is it's going to help my batting stick to my backing. I just want something to hold my backing in place. So we have our backing and our batting. I'm going to spray a little bit more 505. You won't be able to see it on here because it's the same color. And then I'm going to put my quilt top. What I want is for there to be some batting and backing past the front of the quilt. That is what I will trim when I'm done. So before I press it down, I want to make sure that it's flat. Because again, this is going to stick. It's not permanent, but it makes it easier to move your quilt around when you don't have to worry about the different pieces and parts moving. Now let's take this over to the sewing machine and get done. I do want to show you the ideal way to store your project. So before I got a long arm, would baste my quilt, backing batting front, and then I wouldn't always get to quilt them right away, or I might get some done and not get the rest done. And I found that if I fold my projects, that I get creases, and we don't want creases because that makes it harder to flatten again. So I found that what I could do is I can roll my project. And when you roll it, you don't get the creases, you just get a smooth surface that is rolled. You can also roll it on a pool noodle. All right, so this can stay like this for as long as I need to store it, and I'm not gonna get any creases. So here I have my quilt all rolled up. I'm going to unroll it, and I'm only going to unroll it halfway. Now I have a Sew Steady grid glider, and what that does is it just makes all these surfaces more smooth so that I don't have any drag. And the beauty of a baby quilt is it's small enough that it's much easier to maneuver than a full-size quilt. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow the lines of the blocks that are already here. You can do a free motion quilt, you could do something different in each block, you could do whatever you want. The beauty of this fabric is that it already has your piecing done. You just have to quilt it. So I'm going to start in the middle. So I'm going to actually unroll one side and roll up another so that I can push out from the center. Because when you start sewing, you're going to be moving fabric. You're gathering where you're sewing, which pulls it in. That's why you have extra on the outsides. It doesn't matter if you get directly in the line, because when you wash this, it's going to shrink up and you will never even know that you missed the line. Look right here, you can see that there's a little pucker, and that's because your fabric is moving. Just keep everything straightened and it will all work out. Sewing. This is my quilt. So easy. And if you look at it, it's quilted. I don't even know that you would know that this isn't pieced. Now we need to trim it down and add the binding. What I need to do is straighten the edges of this quilt. I'm going to call it a quilt. We could call it a quillanket, but honestly, I did quilt it. It was straight line quilting, but it's quilted. Okay, this is all trimmed down. So cute. And the back is quilted too. So I am going to take this hot pink and cut it into strips and make the binding. My quilt top is complete. I love how it turned out. The pink and the navy blue are perfect. And you can't even tell that this wasn't really pieced. I used the hot pink to bind it. And I shot that whole bit of footage showing you how to create your binding, how to cut your binding, how to attach your binding without sound. I don't even want to talk about it. This has been one of those afternoon evenings that things just haven't worked out exactly right. So I will link to below. See, I can't even talk. I will put a link below to a video that I did that shows you how to do binding. But one other thing that I want to show you. Do not be afraid to cheat. It's fun. It turns out adorable, and I cannot wait to wash it to see what all the fuss is about this cotton gauze. I found another piece of fabric. Is it not absolutely adorable? It is perfect for a decent sized baby quilt or, a toddler quilt. And it looks like it's pieced. This one, I think I need to free motion quilt. And you can do this on your machine, but I want to use a machine with a stitch regulator. My Qnique 16 Elite has the stitch regulator. So I think I want to put this on a frame, put the backing down, put the batting down, put this on a frame, and just outline what looks like are different pieces of fabric. And I can practice my ruler work by doing that. So if you are interested in a video showing how I do that, let me know in the comments below. I mean, it's so cute. Have a great day. Eat some chocolate. Be kind to everyone. And until next time, bye. So I bound it. You see what I'm talking about? Do you hear the cats in the background? Has the and until I can't even talk.